Marketing and Sales Director for Techfynder Global, and I'm really delighted to be here today. We flew over last week to visit Hyderabad for the first time, myself and Brendan, and we've just been filled with hospitality from everyone of all walks of life, and our colleagues in our offices have been really supportive of what we're going to announce today. We see a huge opportunity to look at supplying and offering job seekers opportunities across all of India, not just in the tech cities. We have a base in 150 countries worldwide, and we have a unique USP against most of our competitors, which we'll be discussing later on. So I'm delighted to be here, and thank you all for coming. I think I was 14 years old, and I was delivering newspapers in my neighbourhood area, trying to get subscribers, oddly enough. I used to organise events for all the people to meet after school and try, I suppose, convince them to sign up to the newspapers. So I think it's an odd one. So I have a background in architecture, like building architecture, and it's funny what happens in life. You kind of feel that you go down different paths. So I found my calling in marketing very late in life, and I educate myself at night time whilst running a family with my wife, and I realised that it wasn't just a passion for marketing, it's actually trying to work with consumer satisfaction. So, not to go off a point here, but as Madhu and Brendan says, what we have is a unique portal. So the difference between Naukri and Indeed and Monster and things like that is that it's a subscription based. So you can actually take different business models. If it's one job, if it's 3 jobs, if it's 5 jobs, depending on your needs, you can get direct access to people who are looking for jobs, like talented people, not just in India. So if it's a business in India, you can actually look at taking people remotely in Brazil, New Zealand, Canada, and it's that well spread. So that kind of comes back to the passion I have as an individual, and I want to push boundaries as best I can, but I need to kind of convince people, why are you using other platforms when you should be using ours? So I think my passion with the rest of the teams here, and especially Praveen Madira, our CEO, who unfortunately is away here today, he's a unique passion. So I think, to answer your question, it's always been that journey. I always felt I'm good with people. It's interesting, since Brendan and I arrived last week, we've seen a huge cultural shift from where we live in Ireland, as you can guess. People are sometimes looking at myself and Brendan to take photographs, but I think the big thing for me is honesty. And I know it's not, that word isn't used that much in the industry, but to me, as an individual and as a characteristic to my personality, honesty is hugely important to me. The second thing is actually a passion. So you either have a passion for what you do, and that could be from working in a supermarket to running a global CEO. You have to have a passion. And then finally, it's the ambition. So the ambition drives your passion, and your passion should be dictated by your honesty. So that's what that translates. Yeah, so I suppose the question is, why are we different? And we're talking about a subscription economy, okay? So globally, pre-COVID, the world was very much reliant on full-time staff. And what COVID taught us as a company, especially, just before we got into our inception, is that there's a huge demand for contractors. So we saw a niche in the market that you could actually hire a remote team globally completely, and that would be able to work for their clients working from home at the start of COVID. So our business, it's one of the reasons why we're announcing 1,000 jobs today across in Hyderabad, but we're expanding across India, is because there's been a huge demand of people using our services. And the reason why is that it's a subscription platform, but also it's a hybrid model as well. So what you have there is that you actually have a recruitment team working on your jobs, but at the same time you're using the platform to search for candidates as well. In terms of the technology section to it, the reason why it's different, it's an AI-built piece of tech that we built, so it's able to identify the correct talent that match the required skills, which is unique in the market as well. So all of this is today, the whole point we're here is, it's a branding exercise, obviously, to launch the Techfynder brand, but the really honest good news is it's 1,000 new jobs over the next 3 years in marketing, in technology, in sales, in recruitment, and in admin. that we'll be hiring across India for the company because we're on a growth spurt at the moment. Yeah, I can answer that as well, yeah. As I said, as Brendan said, initially it started off in Ireland in 2019. We got involved, I suppose, with some companies in Ireland initially, but then we were picked up by a Singapore company who then expanded our services across Europe and Singapore. But then what happened was we started to expand into India. So now the reason why we're actually 1,000 new jobs is that we've seen a huge uptake in Africa and the Middle East, and that's of huge interest. So in terms of branding, working at the forecasting, that's the whole point, that we can see that we have an aggressive expansion plan and that we need to hire the right people for that. Certain things we all cover, so Madhu is very much about technology, I'm kind of more about the brand, Brendan's kind of the strategist for the overall company. The brand is really important. So when you look at our brand, which is something going back to my 3 points, we came up with that brand by working with everyone in the office. So everybody put forward their ideas for what they felt this company should be called, the colours of that should be identified. So the branding is actually built by the team. It's not built by an external agency, it's built by us. We actually created this in-house. And we did an awful lot of research to find out if this is exactly what people needed. The reason why, in case you want to know, it's called Techfynder. So the Y in Finder obviously should be spelled with an I, but the Y, it's actually about you. That's the whole point where we use the Y. So it's Y-O-U. So the brand is actually has a positive sentiment. There's never been negative sentiment. It's neutral and positive. I'd say 85-15%. And I suppose because our business is B2C, business to consumers, and also B2B, business to business, it's just really captured our attention. And not just because it's an identity, it's because what it stands for. And what we're standing for is then that we can offer you as a business a fantastic solution that our competitors cannot match. But more importantly to me, it's actually offering jobs to people who need jobs in it's 158 countries as of this morning, worldwide. And it's an incredible thing to see a live map, and you see people being active from Sri Lanka to Madagascar to even Alaska and to Japan, obviously all across India as well. So yeah, it's a fantastic achievement to build a brand. Yeah.
And any product to be launched, we do definitely face a lot of challenges. So as a marketing person, what are the challenges what you have seen, and how did you overcome, the kind of stuff?
Yeah, okay, so traditionally, this is a bit educational, but you do a SWOT analysis when you look at entry into market. So if you have a new entry into market, you have to build brand recognition. All right, so to build recognition, you need to understand your audience, your demographic audience. So what we did is we did a SWOT analysis, which is strength, weaknesses, opposition and threats. So we actually conducted a survey in each market that we go into. And they tell us who the competitors are, not just now, but actually where they're going to be. So we came across a lot of barriers and redefined our product with Madhu and his team. And Brendan was fantastic, actually projecting growth numbers based on the product. So myself and Madhu work very, very closely together in developing the product. I like to look at the service from the outside in. He would look at the service from the inside out, just to make it suit. So yeah, we conquered those barriers, I'm pleased to say. And again, that's why we're here today, to announce all the new jobs. It's a good question. So when we say direct hiring, is that, I'll give you an example. If I worked for NTT Data, okay, and I wanted to hire a lead developer, and the lead developer is Madhu. Normally, traditionally, you would go through a recruitment agency, you would pay commissions and things like that. The difference with Techfynder is that actually you can put up your job, that's one thing, and Madhu could apply for your job without you paying any commissions. Or secondly, which is what most businesses do, I've got to fork my job, is that you can actually put in a criteria into the search, find Madhu, and be able to contact him directly without ever leaving the platform. And you can actually set up an interview on the platform, you can send him contracts to sign, you can message him directly, and you can actually send him directly the job. So the whole point of it is, it's direct, not indirect. So it speeds up the process from usually 3 to 4 weeks when you're hiring to now 3 days. I think our brand, like when you go into a car and you put on your seatbelt, I think our brand will be synonymous across key parts of the world. I think people will think both that if I'm looking for a job and I actually want to find an opportunity, our brand will come to their mind. And also for businesses who are looking to, small businesses or medium-sized businesses who are looking to actually grow, they'll be using our product. But it's more about what the brand represents, so I think our brand will really help them.
You excuse me.
It's typical that happens right now. I've got a cough. So you're asking about the marketing plans?
Yeah.
Okay, so we just finished the whole thing on the metro station in Hyderabad. So we had our branding across the trains and also one of the stations. So I do have a kind of an exclusive, but I don't want to say too much. So we're in the middle of creating a brand new movie, or it's a small movie, advertising movie, which will be launched hopefully in the next 2 months. And this will premiere in cinemas, across TVs as well. So it's kind of the very big above the line campaign that's happening now. And you've got some big surprises in terms of actually who's going to appear in the video as well. So apart from that, we always have our below the line campaigns, our digital and social media campaigns. If there was one thing that I learned actually from looking at marketing in India, is Telegram. Telegram is a huge opportunity for you to actually push out your message and to contact people who are genuinely looking for jobs. Obviously we have bots and things like that, but we actually generally have a customer service team who will reach out and answer people who are looking for jobs and actually give them feedback as well, because normally what happens in a traditional recruitment sector is that people apply for jobs and they don't hear back. Actually with our functionality, we'll put why that didn't work out. So I think that's really important to offer that human touch as well. Yeah, marketing is different in every country. So my kind of objective is to actually grow the base in terms of the job seekers looking for jobs. There's no one fit talent, or no one fit strategy. In Ireland, where we're from, it's a certain type of strategy. In India, it's completely different. And I think it's a great thing. I've learned so much more about marketing that you don't learn in college or university, or I've worked across Europe for different companies in the past. But what I've learned in marketing in India, it's actually about creating society and visiting the schools. It's more field marketing, going into colleges, letting people know that there are opportunities. And so I just feel, apart from the social media elements to it, there's lots of other opportunities. We use the autos in here as well, so we did in Hyderabad and Bangalore. I actually found one today with the Techfynder logo on it, which is great fun. And myself and Brendan, the last 5 days have been in our first autos going around Hyderabad, the Twin Cities, which has been fantastic. So I think the physicality of using marketing and brand in different countries is great. In the States, it's very different. It's very, very much focused on demographics, and it's very much about YouTube and things like that, because you're trying to work with your demographics. In South Africa, it's completely different again. It's more about PR, and then going close to home in the UK, it's a highly competitive market.